Have you ever held a single dime worth more than a house? What if that tiny silver coin sitting quietly in your change jar could turn into a fortune overnight? Today, we're not talking about pocket change. We're talking about hidden treasures disguised as ordinary Roosevelt dimes. Coins so rare, so mysterious, and so valuable that collectors are battling in secret auctions, offering prices that will make your heart stop. And here's the shocking truth: these ultra-rare dimes are still out there. You could find one in your old piggy bank, your grandfather's coin jar, or even inside your wallet right now. In this video, we're diving into the top 10 ultra-rare and most valuable Roosevelt dimes in today's market, each one carrying a story of mystery, error, history, and unimaginable worth. So stay till the very end, because the number one coin on this list could turn a 10-cent piece into a six-figure treasure. Welcome to Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, the channel where every episode might just make you richer than you ever dreamed. Coin number one. Our journey begins with a coin that almost shouldn't exist. A 1972 Roosevelt dime that carries a secret, no mint mark, mysterious black dot markings, and a history that still confuses experts to this day. At first glance, it looks like any other dime, but under magnification, it reveals its secrets. The absence of the mint mark, where a small D or S should be, is what separates this coin from the millions of ordinary ones struck that year. And then there are the black dots, dark, shadow-like impressions on the coin's surface, like fingerprints of fate left by history itself. Back in 1972, the U.S. Mint was producing Roosevelt dimes in massive quantities, over 430 million coins. Most bore the D mint mark from Denver or S from San Francisco. But in a rare and unexplainable twist, a small number were struck in Philadelphia without the mint mark entirely. The dies used to stamp these coins somehow escaped quality control, resulting in a tiny batch of mint markless dimes that would one day stun the numismatic world. Now here's where it gets strange. These coins began surfacing decades later, often found in circulation, showing tiny, perfectly round black dot patterns on their obverse side. Patterns that experts believe may be remnants of a microscopic chemical reaction or oxidation unique to that small run. No one knows exactly how many exist. Some estimate fewer than 20 confirmed pieces have ever been graded in top condition. Each one has a story, a mystery, a trace of something that feels almost supernatural, like destiny stamped in metal. Imagine pulling one of these from your old coin roll, seeing those black dots shimmer faintly under the light, and realizing you've just touched history. You've just uncovered one of the most valuable Roosevelt dimes known today. Collectors call it the phantom dime. Dealers call it the holy grail of modern dime errors. But what makes it truly breathtaking is the value it commands in today's market. This 1972 no mint mark, black dot dime, in almost perfect condition, has shattered expectations, climbing to a staggering $126,000 in recent verified sales. Yes, you heard that right. 126,000 United States dollars for a single dime. That's not pocket change, that's life-changing. A piece of history that could turn your old coin roll into a treasure chest overnight. And here's the wildest part. The value of this coin is climbing every single year. Experts say its price curve looks like a rocket, unstoppable and soaring higher with every sale. So if you ever come across a 1972 dime without a mint mark, look closer. Check under good lighting. Watch for those telltale black dot patterns. Because you might be holding a legend that can make your coin collection shine brighter than gold itself. This is not a myth. This is not fantasy. This is real, verified, documented, and desired by every serious U.S. coin collector on the planet. The 1972 no mint mark black dot dime isn't just a coin. It's a time capsule of imperfection turned perfection. A reminder that sometimes the most valuable things in life are the ones that slip through the cracks of normality. And if you're building your coin collection, here's my advice: never underestimate the power of a simple dime. Search every coin roll. Inspect every detail. Because treasures like this don't announce themselves, they hide in plain sight, waiting for the one collector who dares to look closer. So whether you are a beginner or a seasoned numismatist, keep your eyes sharp. The next time you see a 1972 dime without that tiny mint mark, and especially if it bears those mysterious black dots, you might just be holding the next six-figure discovery. This is just the beginning, because the next coins on our list are even rarer, even more shocking, and even more valuable. And remember, Rare U.S. Coin Secrets is updated every single day with brand new discoveries, real market updates, and unbelievable finds that could be hiding right under your nose. Coin number 2. Now, the second coin on our list isn't just rare, it's historic. It's the very beginning of an American icon, the first-year issue of the Roosevelt dime. Born from tribute, tragedy, and an unexpected mystery that still stuns collectors today. This is the 1946 with D black layer Roosevelt dime, a coin that carries the weight of history, the shadow of error, and the brilliance of beauty all at once. Let's step back in time for a moment. It was 1946, the year America mourned the loss of one of its most beloved leaders, President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Just months after his passing, the United States Mint decided to honor him the only way they knew how, by striking a new dime in his memory. The design was powerful and simple. Roosevelt's proud profile on one side and the torch of liberty on the other, a symbol of hope, unity, and recovery in post-war America. But what came out of the Denver Mint that year would soon baffle even the most seasoned coin experts. A small batch of dimes from Denver emerged with something truly bizarre. Instead of the bright silver shine that marked most coins of that era, these pieces appeared cloaked in a dark, almost obsidian-like black layer, a glossy, shadowed surface that gave them an otherworldly beauty. At first, it was dismissed as toning or environmental damage. But then the truth began to surface. Experts discovered that this black layer wasn't corrosion. It was the result of a rare metallurgical reaction within the silver-copper alloy during the minting process. Under certain conditions, possibly from an unusual dye polish or chemical exposure during production, a chemical reaction darkened the surface, sealing the coin with a mysterious sheen that has now become its signature. And that's why this coin has been nicknamed by collectors as the Black Layer Beauty. Each known specimen of 1946 with D black layer dime glows with an almost mystical aura, a deep contrast between darkness and silver luster. Under magnification, you can see the beauty of the minting details perfectly preserved beneath that shadowy veil. Roosevelt's profile, sharp and defiant, surrounded by this haunting glow. And here's where things get fascinating, because this wasn't a one-time printing error. It's believed that the batch came from a very specific early dye sequence used in Denver's first production runs. The mint workers likely didn't even realize what was happening. They were making history by accident. For decades, these coins vanished into circulation, their strange color dismissed as imperfection. But when collectors began to rediscover them, especially in fine condition, the market exploded. So how much is one of these first-year black layer beauties worth today? Recent confirmed auctions have shocked even veteran collectors. The 1946 with D black layer Roosevelt dime, in fine condition and verified by grading authorities, has fetched up to $165,500 in today's market. That's right, $165,500 for a single dime born in the first year of Roosevelt's legacy. This isn't just a coin. This is American history crystallized in silver. It's a one-of-a-kind relic that reminds us how chance, chemistry, and craftsmanship can turn a small piece of metal into a national treasure. And what is even more thrilling? Its value is rising like never before. Each year, as collectors fight for a piece of this story, prices climb higher, demand grows stronger, and fewer examples ever hit the market. The 1946 D black layer dime has officially crossed into legendary status, a masterpiece of rarity that's already rewriting numismatic records. If you ever come across a 1946 dime with a small D mint mark and an unusually dark, mirror-like surface, don't clean it, don't polish it, don't even breathe on it. Handle it with gloves, photograph it under bright light, and get it authenticated immediately. Because you might just be holding a six-figure treasure, a coin that carries the memory of Roosevelt himself, wrapped in the shadows of the mint's first experiment. Collectors often say this coin feels alive, as if it is whispering stories from 1946 of a nation rebuilding, of a mint honoring a fallen leader, and of fate creating something unrepeatable. And here's my tip for collectors. Focus on early Denver mintage coins. The first-year dimes often hold surprises that modern production will never recreate. The 1946 with D proves that even the smallest details, a layer, a tone, a minting anomaly, can transform a dime into a fortune. So the next time you see a dark-toned dime from 1946, pause for a second. What looks ordinary could be extraordinary. What seems dull could be dazzling under history's light. This is the magic of coin collecting where a simple discovery can rewrite your destiny. And we're only just getting started. Because the next coin on our list is even rarer, even more shocking. And it carries a secret so wild, it is almost unbelievable. You're watching Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, your daily window into the most mysterious and valuable treasures ever struck by the U.S. Mint. Subscribe now, stay tuned, and never miss the next big discovery, because your next coin find could change your life forever. Coin number 3. Every now and then, a coin emerges that challenges everything collectors thought they knew. A coin that defies age, logic, and even the mint itself. The next Roosevelt dime on our list does exactly that. This is the 1993 with P. Blackspot's mystery dime. A coin born in the modern era, yet wrapped in mystery as deep as the oldest treasures ever found. At first glance, it doesn't seem extraordinary. It's small, silver, and familiar, just like the millions of Roosevelt dimes minted that year in Philadelphia. But look closer. Under the right light, you will see something strange, haunting, even. Scattered black spots dancing across its surface like shadows frozen in metal. Collectors have called them the marks of time. But these aren't stains from wear or dirt. No, these are mint-born mysteries. Let's go back to 1993, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was pushing production hard. Over 1 billion dimes were struck that year. But somewhere among the roaring presses, a single batch slipped through, affected by an unknown chemical imbalance during the plating process. Some say it was a flaw in the metal mix. Others whisper that it was a momentary contamination in the striking chamber, whatever the cause. The result was a handful of coins bearing this rare black-spotted pattern, unlike anything the mint had ever seen. These black spots became the dime's signature, subtle yet powerful, natural yet mysterious. Each one unique. No two coins ever share the same pattern. Under magnification, the blackened areas shimmer faintly, creating a hypnotic contrast between the coin's worn silver luster and its dark, haunting marks. Haunting. It's like time itself signed the coin, a fingerprint of history, sealed in its surface. But here's where it gets thrilling. Although this coin was minted in the 1990s, far more recent than the classics we've discussed, its rarity rivals even the earliest Roosevelt dimes. Only a handful of 1993 with P dimes with this distinct black spot anomaly have been authenticated by top grading authorities. The majority discovered are in old or circulated condition, which makes the few that survive even more desirable. Collectors chase these coins like hidden relics because modern mint errors of this nature, unique, natural, and visually striking, are virtually extinct in today's tightly controlled minting process. So what happens when one of these near-forgotten coins hits the auction block? Bidding wars erupt. Collectors hold their breath. Prices climb and climb until the final hammer drops at a jaw-dropping $82,000 for one authentic 1993 P. Blackspots dime in verified collectible condition. $82,000 for a coin many people would have dismissed as dirty or damaged. But to numismatists, this isn't damage. It's art. It's rarity. It's history refusing to fade. And make no mistake, this coin's market value is rising fast. Every month, its story spreads, its demand grows, and fewer are ever seen for sale. It's one of those rare modern coins whose legend is growing right before our eyes. The 1993 with P. Blackspots dime isn't just valuable, it's symbolic. It reminds us that even the smallest imperfections can become a collector's dream. When you hold this coin, you are not just holding metal. You're holding defiance, a piece that said, I won't fade into the ordinary. So here's my tip for every coin hunter out there. Never underestimate the modern years. The 1990s hold secrets that even experts are still uncovering. If you come across a 1993 dime with a P mint mark and dark spot-like patterns, don't ignore it. Protect it. Research it. Authenticate it. You might be looking at one of the most extraordinary Roosevelt dimes ever created. Imagine it. A single coin, weathered by time, holding enough power to rewrite your story overnight. The 1993 P. Blackspots dime has proven one thing beyond doubt. Every dime, no matter how humble it looks, could hide a fortune waiting for discovery. So check your coin rolls, search your jars, and dig into those old collections. Because sometimes the treasure you have been dreaming of is already in your hands. You're watching Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, your daily source for real stories, real values, and the hidden gems of the U.S. Mint. Don't blink, the next coin on our list will make your heart race even faster. It's rarer, older, and its value is beyond belief. Stay tuned. Coin number 4. Our next coin takes us back to one of the strangest, most controversial years in the United States. Coinage history. 1966, the year the mint turned upside down, the year the rules changed, and the year a dime was born that should never have existed. This is the 1966 no mint mark brown spots Roosevelt. Dime, a rare survivor from an era of chaos, secrecy, and unexpected beauty. To understand why this coin is so mysterious, we have to travel back to the mid-1960s, a time when Americans were hoarding silver like treasure. In 1965, the U.S. Mint faced a national coin shortage, forcing the government to make radical changes. They stripped silver out of dimes and quarters, replacing it with a copper-nickel blend. And even more shockingly, they removed mint marks entirely from all coins from 1965 through 1967. Their goal? To discourage hoarding. But what happened instead was history's biggest numismatic paradox. In the middle of this mint mark blackout, a small number of 1966 Roosevelt dimes began surfacing with a strange organic phenomenon, brown spot patterns scattered across their surface. These spots weren't grime, weren't wear, and weren't man-made. They appeared naturally, almost like the coin had aged centuries overnight. Experts believe these brown spots came from a rare metallurgical reaction between the copper core and the nickel coating, a natural oxidation that occurred under just the right conditions. It's as if the coin's layers started speaking to each other, leaving behind marks of time that couldn't be replicated. Each brown spot pattern is unique, like a fingerprint. Some coins show small, scattered patches, others flowing wave-like stains that give the coin an antique, almost sepia-toned glow. Collectors have come to call them the bronze ghosts, dimes that appear to have lived another lifetime before ours. But here's where it gets truly incredible. The absence of the mint mark means no one knows exactly where this small run originated. Most dimes of that year were struck in Philadelphia. But these brown-spotted variants have such unique composition and toning that some experts suspect they were part of an unrecorded experimental batch, a secret minting test that slipped into circulation. And that mystery, that uncertainty, is what gives this coin its power. When one of these coins shows up at auction, collectors don't just bid, they battle. Every known example carries its own pattern, its own identity. No two are the same, and each one tells a different story. In recent verified sales, this 1966 no mint mark brown spots dime in almost perfect condition has sold for an astonishing $146,000. Yes, $146,000 for a dime that once traveled through everyday hands, hidden in plain sight, holding its secret under a cloak of bronze-tinted beauty. That's not just a value, that's destiny in your pocket. A coin that defied chemistry, defied expectation, and now defies belief. And it doesn't stop there. The market value of this coin continues to climb. Collectors are racing to find more, to decode its pattern, to trace its origins, but the truth is, there may not be many left to find. Each confirmed specimen only fuels the fire, proving again that some of the mint's greatest treasures were never meant to be discovered. If you ever find a 1966 dime, take a second look. No mint mark. Brown or bronze-toned spotting across the surface. A whisper of age that feels older than the coin itself. You could be holding the next six-figure miracle. My advice to every collector, study the transitional years. The mid-60s coins hold some of the most valuable secrets in modern numismatics. It was a time when the mint changed everything, and in that chaos, true treasures were born. The 1966 no mint mark brown spots dime is living proof that history rewards those who look closer, that even the simplest coin can carry a story worth a fortune. So keep searching, keep collecting, and never stop believing that your next find could change your life forever. You're watching Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, where every day we uncover the stories, mysteries, and market secrets of America's rarest treasures. Subscribe now, because tomorrow's update might reveal the next coin that turns small change into a lifetime fortune. Coin number 5. Sometimes the rarest treasures don't shine, they whisper. They look ordinary, even flawed, hiding their power under layers of mystery and time. And that's exactly what makes our next coin so fascinating and so valuable. This is the 1988 with D black shade, green dot Roosevelt dime, a coin born from imperfection that turned into a collector's obsession. Let's rewind to 1988. The Denver Mint was operating at full throttle, striking over 1.3 billion Roosevelt dimes that year. Production was relentless. Ds were wearing down, temperatures were rising, and metal blanks were flying faster than quality control could blink. And in the middle of that frenzy, something strange happened. A handful of coins emerged, bearing dark shadowed surfaces, patches of black shading, faintly shimmering like smoke trapped in metal, and on some of them, small, vivid green dots appeared, like tiny emerald scars frozen in the silver-gray finish. At first glance, they looked dirty, unremarkable, the kind of coin most people would toss aside without a second thought. But those who looked closer discovered that what appeared as grime was actually a chemical signature, a microscopic reaction between the dime's copper-nickel alloy and traces of mint room cleaning solution that somehow fused during the striking process. The result, a coin with a unique black-green patina, impossible to replicate, impossible to predict. It was as if the metal had captured its own shadow, a visual echo of the mint floor that birthed it. The surface tells its own story, faint lines of pressure, a swirl of color, a green spark on a sea of silver. Every one of these dimes is different, every one unmistakably authentic. Collectors call it the shadow and emerald dime. And though it came from the modern era, it now stands shoulder to shoulder with the great rarities of the past, because only a tiny handful have ever been verified. The Denver Mint never recorded the anomaly, it never reappeared. Most examples were lost to circulation long ago, mistaken for worn, dirty coins. Those few that survived, especially those still showing the black shade and green dot pattern, are now the focus of fierce private bidding wars. And here's where jaws drop. One of these 1988 with D black shade green dot dimes, even in what experts call dirty condition, has reached an incredible $90,500 in today's market. $90,500 for a coin most people would have dismissed as worthless pocket change. That's not just profit, that's pure astonishment. It's proof that even in imperfection there is beauty, and in beauty there is fortune. And the market isn't slowing down. Every year, demand climbs higher and new discoveries become rarer. This coin's value curve looks like a mountain peak, sharp, unstoppable, and rising toward legend. If you ever spot a 1988 dime with a D-mint mark, a shadowy dark surface, or a strange greenish speck near the rim, don't ignore it. Don't clean it, don't polish it. Photograph it under light and get it authenticated. What looks dirty might be one of the most lucrative mistakes the mint ever made. Collectors who specialize in mint anomalies say the 1980s are a goldmine of overlooked treasures. The rush to produce billions of coins meant a few slipped through with character, color, and mystery that no machine could repeat. That's the thrill of the hunt. You don't need ancient gold or colonial silver. Sometimes the magic hides in a simple dime that carries a shadow and a spark of green. So keep looking through your jars, your coin rolls, and your childhood change. Because if luck decides to smile your way, the next dirty dime you touch could be your ticket to a fortune. You're watching Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, your daily source for America's most mind-blowing coin discoveries and their rising market values. Subscribe, stay tuned, and remember that every coin has a story, and the next one you find might just rewrite yours. Coin number 6. Some coins shine brightly from the moment they are struck. Others hide in the shadows, waiting decades before revealing their worth. The next coin on our list was once dismissed as dull, unremarkable, and even lifeless in color. But today it stands among the most hauntingly beautiful and valuable Roosevelt dimes ever discovered. This is the 1983 with P. Gray layer Roosevelt dime. The coin collectors have come to call the Gray Ghost. Let's step back to the early 1980s, a time when the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was in full industrial rhythm. Millions of dimes struck every day. The presses thundered, the metal rolled hot, and the rush to meet national demand left little room for perfection. And in that rush, something quietly extraordinary happened. Among the countless flawless strikes, a small batch of dimes emerged, cloaked in a misty gray layer. A smooth, ghostly coating that dulled the coin's shine but preserved its details with an eerie, soft precision. At first, mint workers assumed it was a surface contamination. But metallurgists later discovered something much rarer, a microscopic fusion error during the bonding of the dime's copper core and nickel shell. The layers didn't merge perfectly, creating a faint gray film that gave the coin its haunting fog-like appearance. Under light, this dime does not sparkle. It glows. A subtle, matte radiance, neither silver nor steel, something in between. That's why collectors began calling it the gray ghost. Each one feels timeless, as though time itself couldn't decide whether to age it or preserve it. Only a handful of these coins are known to exist, and most come from the Philadelphia Mint, marked by that small P tucked beside Roosevelt's neck. But here's the twist: the Mint never admitted to the anomaly. No official record, no experiment logs, nothing. The gray ghosts just appeared, then vanished back into circulation. Decades later, collectors began spotting them in roll hunts, coins that looked ordinary until held under bright light. That's when the gray surface came alive, revealing the soft layering that no modern dime could ever reproduce. And then came the discovery that changed everything. A verified 1983 with pea gray layer dime, preserved in fine condition, was brought to auction. The bidding started modestly, but as numismatists realized what they were looking at, the room went silent, then electric. When the final bid landed, jaws dropped. The hammer fell at an unbelievable $95,000. Yes, $95,000 for a dime that once looked too dull to notice. That's not a price tag, that's destiny. That's a forgotten coin roaring back from obscurity to prove that even what seems lifeless can hold immeasurable value. And here's what's even more thrilling: its market value is climbing. Every major auction house now lists the gray ghost as one of the most demanded modern dime anomalies in the world. The rarity, the mystery, the absence of official records, it all adds up to one thing: a collector's holy grail hiding in plain sight. If you ever come across a 1983 dime with a P mint mark and a muted gray surface, don't dismiss it. Don't assume it is worn out. Handle it carefully, photograph it under natural light, and have it authenticated. You might be holding one of the most hauntingly rare Roosevelt dimes ever created. Collectors say these coins feel alive, almost breathing with history, carrying the echo of every hand that ever touched them. And here's my tip for serious collectors: never ignore surface anomalies. The tiniest tone shift, the faintest color layer, can mean the difference between a 10-cent coin and a life-changing discovery. The 1983 with pea gray ghost dime isn't just a coin, it's a symbol of what makes collecting magical. The mystery, the patience, the moment your heart stops when you realize what is in your hand. So keep hunting, keep believing, because sometimes the dullest coin in your collection might just be the brightest treasure of all. You're watching Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, your daily source for America's rarest discoveries, shocking coin values, and the untold stories of the Mint. Subscribe now, because the next coin we uncover will take rarity, mystery, and fortune to a whole new level. Coin 7. Every once in a while, a coin appears that makes even veteran collectors stop and stare. A coin that looks as if it has been touched by history itself. The next treasure on our list has that kind of presence. At first glance, it doesn't shimmer with silver. It doesn't boast a mirror-like shine. Instead, it wears a warm, burnished brown layer, a hue that whispers of age and mystery. This is the 1985 D. Roosevelt dime, a coin that became a legend for what went wrong at the Mint and how that mistake created something extraordinary. Back in 1985, the Denver Mint was a hive of precision. Millions of dimes struck every single day. Flawless, efficient, unremarkable. But among those countless perfect coins, a few slipped through the cracks, struck on metal planchets that had been exposed to a rare chemical reaction before minting. The result? A thin brownish layer, an oxidized film that fused with the dime's nickel surface during the press. It was subtle but stunning, transforming the coin's color from cold silver to a soft bronze gold tone that looked unlike anything the Mint had ever released. Under magnification, that brown layer reveals itself as organic, not dirt, not tarnish, but a born with it imperfection. Every ridge, every curve of Roosevelt's face seems brushed with time. Collectors say the patina looks like antique bronze, alive, earthy, and timeless. And that's exactly what made this dime an instant mystery. For decades, coin experts debated its origin. Was it an experimental finish, a minting mishap, or something else entirely? The Denver Mint records from that year are clean, no notes, no errors logged. Officially, this dime shouldn't exist at all, but it does, and that's what makes it priceless. The few that surfaced were found by pure accident, tucked inside rolls, glimmering just a shade darker than their neighbors. To an untrained eye, they looked dirty. But to a seasoned collector, they looked different. And once authenticated, those dirty dimes were revealed as the holy grail of 1980s minting errors. Coins that defied uniformity. Coins that stood out when everything else was meant to be the same. Then came the day the world took notice. One of these 1985 with D brown layer dimes, preserved in almost perfect condition, was put up for private sale. The price climbed higher and higher until the final number hit an astonishing $92,000. Yes, $92,000 for a single dime that most people would have tossed aside. That's not pocket change. That's power. That's the kind of discovery that transforms a casual collector into a legend. And here's the truth, its value isn't done growing. With each passing year, as more collectors learn about this anomaly and fewer examples surface, the price continues to climb like a rising tide. The burnished bronze 1985 with D dime tells a story not just of error, but of endurance. It's the story of how imperfection can become perfection in the eyes of those who understand rarity. This coin doesn't shine, it glows. It doesn't scream for attention, it demands respect. Collectors say when you hold it under light, the brown layer almost breathes like the coin is alive with warmth and memory. And that's what makes it a masterpiece of accident and time. If you're a collector hunting for this rarity, here's your tip. Watch for tone, not luster. This coin hides in plain sight. Many have been mistaken as discolored, cleaned, or corroded, only to be later revealed as genuine mint anomalies worth a fortune. Always inspect your 1985 dimes, especially those bearing the D mint mark. Look for that soft bronze hue. Even a faint shade difference could mean the difference between a 10-cent coin and a small fortune waiting to be discovered. This coin proves one truth above all. Rarity doesn't always come wrapped in shine. Sometimes it hides behind a shadow, waiting for someone curious enough to look closer. So keep your eyes open. Keep your heart racing, because your next coin roll might hold the same brown glowing beauty that changed everything for collectors across America. You're watching Rare U.S. Coin Secrets, your daily portal into the hidden fortunes of American coinage. Subscribe, stay curious, and remember that sometimes the rarest treasures are the ones that look the most ordinary. Coin number 8. When people talk about valuable coins, they usually look back to the early 1900s, but every now and then, a modern coin breaks all the rules. A coin so unusual, so visually shocking, it sends ripples through the entire collector community. That's exactly what happened with the 2018 with P. Roosevelt dime, the one now whispered about as the Emerald Mist. At first glance, this coin doesn't even look real. Its surface glows with an unmistakable green layer, almost translucent, like it is trapped under glass. And then a single brown dot right on the portrait, as if marked by time itself. Most people would pass it off as a chemical stain, maybe pocketware, maybe just a trick of light. But this was no accident. Back in 1918, the Philadelphia Mint was striking millions of Roosevelt dimes with state-of-the-art machinery. Everything was digital, controlled, precise. And yet, out of that perfect system came a handful of coins unlike any other. Dimes that somehow developed a thin film of oxidized copper-nickel alloy, rich with green and brown hues, almost like a patina forming centuries too early. It wasn't damage. It wasn't grime. It was chemistry and destiny. Experts later discovered that during a brief production window, temperature fluctuations in the alloy bonding process may have created a microscopic shift, a reaction that sealed a faint greenish tint deep beneath the surface. That reaction made the coin shimmer in light with an iridescent sheen. And that's when collectors started calling it the Emerald Mist. Imagine finding one in your loose change, a 2018 dime, glinting faintly green under your kitchen light. You tilt it, and a soft bronze dot catches your eye, like a secret mark from the minting gods themselves. That tiny difference turned ordinary pocket change into something unbelievable. When one surfaced at auction, authenticated and preserved in fine condition, the bidding didn't just rise, it exploded. Collectors and investors went head-to-head until the final bid closed at an astonishing $63,000. Yes, a dime from just a few years ago, striking in its simplicity, valued higher than gold by those who understand what true rarity means. And it's not fiction. This dime's demand is still growing. Each year as the story spreads and fewer pristine examples appear, the price keeps climbing, proof that even modern coins can hide miracles. The 2018 with P. Emerald Mist dime isn't just a modern mint marvel, it's a reminder that rarity doesn't always belong to the past. Even in our age of machines, perfection slips, and when it does, it gives birth to treasure. Collectors describe it as hypnotic, the way that green sheen flows under light, the bronze mark resting like a birth scar. Everyone is unique, everyone tells a slightly different story. If you ever come across a 2018 dime with a P mint mark, and even a hint of that emerald tint, don't overlook it. Handle it carefully, photograph it in daylight, and have it examined. You might be staring at the newest chapter in the United States. Coin collecting history. Here's your collector tip. Never assume new means common. Modern errors and anomalies are the hidden gold of today's market. The collectors who recognize them first are the ones who write the next headlines. The Emerald Mist dime is proof that magic still happens at the mint. It's the quiet reminder that even in a digital world, rarity is alive and fortune still hides in plain sight. You're watching Rare US. Coin secrets, updated daily with the stories, surprises, and discoveries shaking up the coin world. Stay curious, stay excited, because your next coin might just be the next treasure. Coin number 9. Every generation of collectors has a coin that feels almost too perfect, so flawless, so untouched, that it seems frozen in time. The next treasure on our list is exactly that. A dime struck at the Denver Mint in 1997 that should have been ordinary, but wasn't. It gleams with untouched beauty, crisp edges, mirror fields, and right at the center of Roosevelt's cheek, a small dark black dot. A mark so subtle that most people would never notice. Yet that single imperfection is what separates this dime from millions of others. To understand its story, we go back to the late 1990s when the US Mint had perfected automated striking. The presses were lightning fast, the quality control relentless. But one night shift, as molten metal met steel die, a microscopic carbon particle slipped between the layers. When the coin was struck, that particle fused inside the metal itself, leaving behind a perfectly round shadow-black inclusion. It wasn't paint. It wasn't dirt. It was locked beneath the surface, part of the coin's very soul. Collectors began calling it the shadow mark dime. Under magnification, you can see how the black dot rests within the nickel layer, sealed forever like a fingerprint of fate. And what makes it even more breathtaking? The coin we're talking about today remains in uncirculated condition. Sharp, untouched, almost glowing from the moment it left the die. For years, few believed such a coin existed. But when one surfaced in a private collection, graded, authenticated, and flawless, the discovery sent collectors into a frenzy. How could a coin so modern carry such a unique natural anomaly? That's when the magic number appeared. In recent sales, verified examples of the 1997 with D shadow mark dime have reportedly fetched up to $70,000. That's not rumor, that's recorded history in the auction books. And with every passing season, as more collectors enter the market and fewer pristine examples are seen, its estimated value only climbs. Experts now call it one of the defining rarities of late 20th century US. Coinage. The beauty of this coin isn't just its luster, it's the contrast. Silver brilliance against a single black dot. Perfection balanced with imperfection. It reminds collectors why they search, because within every mint's precision lies the chance of magic. When you hold it under light, that dark mark almost seems to move, to breathe, to wink back at you as if the coin knows it is different. If you're hunting for this rarity, study every 1997 dime with a D mint mark. Look closely under a jeweler's lens. One faint dot, perfectly round, sealed within the surface, could be the clue you've been dreaming of. Keep uncirculated rolls safe. Store them properly, never clean or polish. Authenticity and preservation are everything. The 1997 with D shadow mark dime is a masterpiece of chance, a reminder that even perfection leaves room for mystery. Somewhere out there, another might still be hiding in a roll, waiting for the light to find it. So keep searching, keep believing, because one small dot could be your doorway into numismatic legend. You're watching Rare US. Coin Secrets, bringing you new discoveries, fresh market stories, and the rarest treasures of American history every single day. Stay curious, stay passionate, and keep your eyes on the change in your hand, because fortune may be looking right back. Coin number 10. Every collector knows the year 1964 was the end of something special. It marked the final breath of true silver coinage before America shifted to modern alloys. But among those millions of dimes struck in Denver that year, A tiny handful emerged, unlike any others, each bearing mysterious dark black spots across their glowing surfaces. They were born from the same silver that defined a generation, yet they carried shadows, imperfections that would one day make them legends. The Denver Mint in 1964 was running at full throttle. The government had announced the change silver would soon be gone from circulating dimes. Mint workers raced to strike as many coins as possible before the composition changed forever. In that frantic rush, the silver planchets, the blank discs, were sometimes exposed to heat and air just a fraction too long. Tiny bits of carbon and oxidized metal settled on the surface. When those blanks were struck, the impurities fused permanently into the coin's silver skin. The result? Small, deep black dots that look like nightfall captured in metal. No two are alike. Some bear a single shadow on Roosevelt's cheek, others a constellation across the fields. Each one is unique, a fingerprint of the mint's last silver storm. For decades, collectors overlooked them, thinking the spots were damage. But as time passed and true silver dimes vanished from everyday life, something changed. Numismatists began noticing that these marked pieces aged differently. Their patina grew rich, smooth, almost silky. The black spots didn't corrode, they stabilized. The coins became known as the midnight silver dimes. Under bright light, the silver gleams while the black marks glow faintly blue, giving the whole coin a haunting, lunar beauty. It's as if the last year of the silver minting wanted to leave its own signature, one final whisper before the era ended. When one of these 1964 with D-midnight silver dimes surfaced in a private collection, still in old, unpolished condition, the reaction was electric. The auction opened quietly and then erupted. Bidders who knew what they were seeing refused to back down until the hammer fell at an incredible reported price of $119,000. That moment cemented its status as one of the great modern rarities. Collectors describe holding one as holding the end of an age, the last true silver dime touched by human hands before the world changed forever. And the demand hasn't slowed. Each passing year, with silver coins growing scarcer, these marked survivors are valued more and more, their legend deepening like the shadows that define them. If you search through silver rolls, pay attention to every 1964 with a D-mint mark. Look for those dark, perfect dots. Don't polish. Don't clean. Leave the mystery intact. Because that darkness is the very thing that gives the coin its light. And here's the collector's insight. Transitional era coins, those struck right before or right after a major mint change, often hold the most powerful stories. The 1964 with D-midnight silver dime is proof. It bridges two worlds, silver and clad, history and modernity. Some see a flaw. True collectors see a farewell, a final masterpiece of the Silver Age, etched forever in black. So keep your eyes open, your mind curious, and your heart ready. Because somewhere, in a forgotten roll or a family jar of change, another midnight silver dime may still be waiting, and when it finds the light again, its story could become yours. You're watching Rare US, Coin Secrets, where every day we uncover the beauty, the mystery, and the fortune hidden inside America's coins. Subscribe, stay curious, and remember sometimes the rarest treasures don't shine the brightest, they shimmer in shadow.